Hey guys, it's John here from Sonic Drive Studio. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. You guys know how much I love the Line 6 Helix, right? Well, today I can finally say that I'm a proud owner of an HX Stomp. I'm kind of late to the party, but it's a cool party nonetheless. Look how cool this thing is and how tiny. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but this is basically a miniature Helix. This thing features all the Helix amps and effects. It can also function as your USB audio interface. You can control it via MIDI. It has a stereo effects loop. You can plug your expression pedal in, and this thing can do so much more. So it's really an incredible device, and it's super small and compact, so it's just perfect for your pedal board or in the studio. So yeah, this thing is amazing indeed, and I'm very stoked to finally have one here. There are already a lot of in-depth reviews out there of the HX Stomp, so I'm gonna keep this video short and simple. I made my first preset, which you heard in the intro song. So what I'm gonna do now is go over the settings of that preset real quickly for you on my computer in HX Edit, just so you can see what I've got going on there. I like to use the editor on my computer, but it's also worth noting that it's really easy to dial in your presets on the hardware itself. All right, here we go. Okay, so over here we have HX Edit, and we're just gonna go over the settings of this preset here. As you can see, I have the input gate on here with a threshold of -70 dB. The decay is set to the fastest setting, which is 10 milliseconds. And this is the input impedance setting that I'm using here. Now let's start off with the amplifier block, which is probably the most important block in this chain. And for the tones, I am using the Placator Dirty Amp, which is based on a Friedman BE100. It's a great amp, and this amp model does a great job of emulating that amplifier. It sounds really good and really realistic, in my opinion. So let's go over the settings. I have the C45 switch enabled, and I have also turned on the saturation switch here for more distortion. The fat switch is off because I prefer to use that for lead tones, not so much for rhythms. And the HBE switch is on as well. Bass, mid, and treble are all set to 5. Drive is set to 6. Presence has been raised to 6.3. And that's about it. Really basic, really simple, but it sounds great. And then in the impulse response block, I'm using the high resolution IR, and I'm using an Ownhammer impulse response from the recent Revolution series IRs. And I'm using a file from the OH412 Trad V30-MB1 cap pack. And the mix that I'm using is the Forward 3 mix. It's a mix that I like to use a lot because it's very balanced. It has a nice and clear open top end with a fat bottom and nice mids. So that's a great IR to check out if you have one of those packs. And then at the end of the chain here, I have a simple room reverb going on from the Legacy effects. I use this a lot on my tones. I basically just use this to add a little bit of subtle room reverb to the tones, even for high gain rhythm tones. It just makes them sound a little bit more alive and real, and kind of roomy, of course. And again, it's very subtle. Mix has been set to 30% and the decay has been set to 3.2. Now don't let the name Legacy fool you. These effects are still top-notch, they sound amazing, and I love using them. Now, as you noticed in the intro song, there were 3 effects that I turned on and off with the foot switches. The first one that you heard in the song is this modulation effect here, which is the gray flanger. I'm just using the default settings, but I have set the rate to 0.5, so it's going nice and slow. And I have the bypass assigned set to foot switch 2. So I'm using that to sort of punch the flanger in and out for that short section. And then we have the wah-wah going on, which is really cool. And I'm using the throaty wah. It's one of my favorite wahs in the Helix. And what I really like about the wahs in the Helix or HX Stomp is the fact that you can sort of customize them by fine-tuning the low frequency and the high frequency here. So what I often like to do is lower this a bit more so that you can really get that sort of low growly sound in the wah and the low register. I have the bypass assigned set to foot switch 1. So again, I'm just turning that on and off in that particular section. And I'm controlling the wah position with my expression pedal, which is on the floor here. As you can see, I can move the position up and down with that. So that's really neat. And then for the final chord of this mini song, I used a delay, a very simple delay, set to quarter notes, just to kind of end the song with. And again, I have the bypass assign set to a switch, this time foot switch 3. So there you go, that's the preset for you. Very simple, but very effective. It sounds great and it's easy to work with. Alright guys, that was all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Line 6 related content very soon. Also be sure to hit subscribe along with the notification bell, and you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!